Hi, welcome back to the Heim Time podcast. I'm your host, Travis Heim.
Hey, Travis, I'm Emma.
Emma Heim.
Emma Heim.
Okay, nice to meet you. And we're happy to be back. Today's episode is sponsored by Rar & Sons Beer.
Shout out.
Rar & Sons Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas. Delicious beer. The oldest craft barbecue, the oldest craft beer brewery in Fort Worth.
Yes.
They've been doing it for a long time. We're super thankful for Aaron, Rar, and Fritz and everything they're doing, and for caring enough to sponsor this podcast.
Yeah.
So, hit them up. All their beers are great, but especially Paleta de Mango, one of my favorites. That's
Good
what I'm
job.
sipping on. Thank you. What are you drinking?
Adios Pantalones.
Which
So
is
good.
Maybe the best name for a beer.
The best name
of all time.
which is why I enjoy it. And it's pink.
It is pink. Yeah, the can.
Draws the eye.
It's awesome. They just released a new beer, Rarchulata, which is kind of like a michelada, if you will, in can form. So it's got a little spices and stuff. So delicious. I love a traditional michelada with a little lime juice. And they said you could pour this over ice with some lime juice. But it's delicious. Really good stuff. So shout out Rar. Drink their beer, a lot of it, but do it responsibly. We want to say that. And then tag Rar & Sons and say, I am drinking the beer because you guys sponsor Heim Time Podcasts, and let's keep it going. So that's awesome. So thank you to Rar. Also, they have a music deal coming up.
Yeah,
Do you know about that?
Rhythm and Roots Fort Worth. That's actually the website, www.rhythmandrootsfortworth.com. And they are doing shows. This one is on July 23rd. It's Hayes Carl. And
Awesome.
yeah, it's going to be a good time. And Secret Sisters take the stage at 7:30. Doors open at 6:30. And then he's going to go on after that. You can purchase tickets on the website. And you actually get some free beers, technically.
What?
3 beers. So anyway, it's a good time. Your kids can come. 0 to 9 are free.
Damn.
Important these stages of life.
Right.
And anyway, you can enjoy some Rar beer and listen to some good music. And also our friend Jen is the event planner for that, Ellison Events. So shout out to her too.
Yeah, and Jen, they did the event
River and Blues
Fest this last year, which was kind of with COVID. That was a bummer, but it was an awesome production and everything else. So anything that Jen's doing is going to be great. So check out.
Yeah.
Perfect excuse to go drink delicious Rar beer, listen to some music, and have a great time. So check all that out. Obviously, you can just look at their website, their Instagram, all that stuff. But Rar & Sons Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas, one of our favorite beers, hands down. But delicious stuff.
Love
Go
you, Aaron.
and drink it. Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening from Fort Worth, Texas. It's slow here in the heat. We're down Main Street.
Okay. Hello. Welcome
Hi.
back.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
I'm Travis.
I'm Emma.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's been a while.
It's Heim Time, officially again.
It is.
Bow, 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 bow.
I need the fireworks. It is officially Heim Time.
Yes.
Another hot, awesome, tasty episode for you. We're really excited. This has been a while. If you're viewing this podcast, which we would recommend, you may notice something a little different. We've upgraded our digs here quite a bit.
Is that a song? Honey, let me upgrade you.
Probably. So shout out Paul, Mickelson Studios. He has just done an awesome job. So there's multiple studios here. So as we continue the podcast, we'll bring on some guests and some other stuff. You may see some different layouts and different things, but yeah, overall awesome.
Yeah,
I really like it so far.
Very comfy.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So we're happy to be here. What's been going on in your life these past 6 months?
Well, thanks for asking. So I believe actually it was our last podcast we announced that we were having a child.
Yeah.
I was hiding a belly underneath the table during our podcast.
Secret time, I think, was the episode.
Secret. We officially successfully had a child.
All right. Awesome.
She's now 6 months. So thank y'all for bearing with us as we took a break to actually like start our
Live
child's
lives,
life.
yeah.
She's doing awesome. Her name's Izzy. She just hit 6 months. She's
We love her,
adorable.
yeah.
She's got big blue eyes and little, like actually a lot of hair for a little baby.
A lot of hair.
And it's a strawberry blonde like mommy and daddy. So she's definitely ours.
Yeah. I don't know how the future will go, but at least we know she'll have hair between us. We're
have
very
a lot of hair.
gifted with being able to grow hair
Yeah.
facially or otherwise. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
for
so we had a kid and it's going well. So
How
far, so
many times have you watched the hit movie Moana?
good. Ooh. At least, for real, like in for reals, probably like 200 times.
I would say so.
Like if you're, I mean, I would say like 1,000,000, but I know that's not realistic, but I would say probably at least 200 times. And I only did that. I put it on just to get her, like I was cooking in the kitchen. And I was like, okay, I need her to stop crying for 1 second while I finish this meal. And I put it on
Distraction,
a distraction. We love the islands. I was like, maybe my child will. Moana is like breathing to her. It is the best thing
Yeah, she loves
ever.
it.
As soon as she hears the songs, she starts to lose it. So anyway, pro Moana. Anything else absolutely sucks to her.
Not a big fan. I tried Frozen one day when
No,
I was watching
no.
her, and not a fan. Not a big fan.
She doesn't even really like Lion King. All
Lion
the
King too,
the
yeah.
OGs.
Well, first of all, Lion King, when I put it on the other day, it's a pretty intense movie.
I know,
Like
it's
if
sad.
if you really go back, it's like
Mufasa.
yeah, and the
Scar.
his dad dies,
I
and it's
know.
like this is I guess when we were kids, things were pretty wheels off. Like Bambi's mom's getting shot, and they're
Dumbo.
like,
Gets taken.
Disney. I don't know if I've ever seen Dumbo.
Dumbo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good.
Okay. There you have it. That was a Disney movie review for the week.
Pinocchio, the kid like has to go away and lives on like a weird farm or a weird like show, and then he
Yeah.
like becomes a donkey. Have you seen
Okay. No.
that? Okay, see,
I
Well,
just
you have
remember
homework.
Geppetto. Wasn't that the guy's name?
Yeah, I think that's like his dad. Anyway, Moana.
Yeah, no, but it's Disney movies are different now. I feel like a lot of the newer ones are a little.
Yeah.
There's not as much death and murder. It seems like, but
There
Lion
is a
King-
scary volcano demon
Right.
in Moana.
But it's almost
Izzy doesn't care
spoiler alert if you haven't seen Moana yet, but it's a great movie because then things work out in the end.
Yeah.
And two, the biggest thing I think of Moana is Dwayne the Rock Johnson, one of your favorite gentleman actors. Even though
Ladies,
he's
you know
not.
what's up.
But he sings in it and does a good job. So yeah, Izzy, our daughter, huge Moana fan.
Our daughter. Does that sound weird to say?
It's very weird.
It is kind of weird.
I don't. I think too. Like I had, it's funny because like everyone that has kids, at least my friend group was like, don't have kids.
Well,
which is like
I love you guys.
maybe that says something about my friends. But then I, it's like the reality is it's life changing, and I think
Yeah.
that's difficult. Probably for everybody, but it's really difficult for some people. And I didn't understand what that meant until, even recently, because when the first couple of months, you're just like, I just need to keep her alive. Like, this is like all I'm worried about. And then you have a little more time for reflection and other stuff. And like we were talking about the other day, I think it's almost like you're wearing like kid glasses.
Right.
And it's like now everything that I see and care about in the world this is the only thing. And then,
Mhm.
Business or personal or whatever, it's all surrounded or whatever by the fact that like we have a daughter and I just want everything to be great
Right.
for her. So
It's I might have said this before, like when I was pregnant, but I was like, I felt like it was a level up in life because if you don't have a kid, you really don't understand, not to separate
Okay,
anybody
bring the
out. But I didn't until even pregnant, and even like her on earth, I was still like, oh, cool. And then all of a sudden it like clicks and you're just like, this is the most insane and best thing of life that like life has to offer if you're into it, you know. Some people aren't, but
well, for us, we didn't even know if we could have kids.
Yeah, we didn't.
So when we found out, we're like,
we're like,
wow,
we don't know if we can have kids. Let's just keep opening restaurants.
yeah, and then
Now we have a human.
You were pregnant in the middle of a global pandemic, while also we were opening our Dallas restaurant location. What was that like?
Oh, Pandy baby?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people ask me that question. I'm sure a lot of pregnant people that were pregnant in the pandemic have gotten that question.
Right.
But for me, I obviously didn't know any different.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was like, oh, it was so much better in 2010 when it wasn't a pandemic or whatever, because I don't know what that was like. So for me, I kind of used this time to zen out and was like, well, not only do I not have to be obligated to do anything, honestly, right now, I can't change anything. The restaurants are doing what they are doing based off of like the government at the time.
Thank you.
So I couldn't change anything. And then there was a rampant like virus going around. So I don't want to catch that. Don't know how it's going to affect me or the baby. So
yeah, no one really knew how at that point.
No, and I'd heard both sides, like it can affect the baby while she's in the belly and all this stuff. So I just kind of was like, I'm just going to be and then grow this baby, and worked out.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. From a restaurant standpoint, what, how are things going with the restaurants?
Now?
Yeah.
Better. Great.
Yeah.
So much better. Thank you guys for continually supporting us, because during the pandemic, it was like, we don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, literally, we did all the curbside stuff, the drive-throughs, call aheads, whatever we had to do. Selling raw meat. I don't know if that was legal, but
well, the first time it was illegal, but then after that, I think it was okay.
I mean,
but
it's great to see people back in the restaurants.
Yeah, we noticed a clear. I think March was kind of a turning point, and then April and May were hands down some of the busiest months we've ever had. And then you had Mother's Day, then we just had Father's Day, and I don't know. I feel like there's a collective kind of ease or easing of people. A lot of people have had the vaccine, like we had the vaccine, and I'm comfortable saying that. And people are like, I just want to live my life again. And like
people are ready to go
to restaurants or bars or do anything social. I mean, that just seeing friends or seeing family for a lot of people wasn't an option during the past year. So
you barely got to come into the hospital to like see your child be born.
I know that was
our family definitely didn't get to.
But if it had been a month earlier, maybe I wouldn't have, because that
Seriously.
was she was born in December, and then I couldn't go to most of the doctor visits.
Yeah.
Or,
I honestly shout out to my OB. She totally let you sneak in. She's awesome.
Yeah.
If you need her number, message me.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was weird, and I don't know. I feel like I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about it because everybody went through it, and it's at the end of the day, we're just trying to sell barbecue. There's people with real problems,
right.
that were like seriously affected by it. So,
but the restaurants, they're turning around. Everything's awesome. People are coming out. The weekends are back to normal, feeling even bigger almost, it feels like. So
it's all been awesome. Yeah. Did you want to announce the big news about the south of here place?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're pregnant. I'm just kidding.
Jesus. That's news to me. So.
Yeah. I decided to tell you on the podcast.
I gotta leave.
We're opening a 4th location.
Yep.
Because again, we're nuts.
Yep.
So we'll be in Burleson.
Yeah, Burleson, Texas.
Burleson, Texas. In this, I guess it's like the town square area.
Old town-ish.
Yeah, by the Babes Chicken right behind there.
Old town adjacent area.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we've officially announced it. I know the city kind of put something out, but it's an awesome, deal that we worked out with them. It's going to be a brand new building right next to Burleson, and the city council has put a ton of money into kind of redeveloping sort of Old Town, and they are really want to bring new businesses and restaurants, family friendly places to Burleson. So where we're going to go is right across the street from sort of a open park area where they have a stage. The city's put in, this really, really cool kind of walkable plaza type thing. So we'll have a pretty big size restaurant, but then it'll have a rooftop bar that's
Yeah,
going to overlook
and
all of that
stage.
area. So we're excited. So that's I guess this is the first time we've
Yeah,
announced
actually,
it,
we haven't even posted any of it on any social media. I haven't.
yeah,
Um.
surprise.
So there you go.
Awesome. Where to begin? What do you have? Anything that notes? Um, I want to talk about something, and I just made a noise. Sorry, Paul, on the desk. It's like, did all this work with the coasters and stuff, and I'm still making noises. Have you seen Airplane Seafood Lady?
Yes. With the lobsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. So
Okay.
a couple people sent it to me. It's
Okay.
just, I don't know. What do you say about that?
We
Why?
may have to have you put a photo up in the deal,
Oh,
Paul.
yeah.
But to if I must spell it out for everyone, a woman, young lady, brought on a aluminum foil pan, if you will, onto an airplane of what looks like delicious seafood, but lobsters.
It's like a seafood tower, but on a plane.
Yeah, there's like some sort of collard greens mixed in. I noticed on the table there's a half avocado for some reason. But
Making herself at home.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't even eat like that at home. Who does? It's crazy.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I want some
You need-
lobster at
you
the
need
house,
seafood
but I
towers?
just don't. It doesn't happen. Is this appropriate behavior? Is what I want to ask, because I feel like I've never. This went viral on Twitter, and people were like, "You need to throw her off the plane."
Well,
and,
she was just having a party for herself.
But who does that?
But there was like little like rums and like
Oh, they were
they were
partying.
like having a party,
Yeah.
just like in row 35 on a
Yeah.
plane.
And it was Spirit Airlines. I don't know what that says. I just feel like that's a part of the
Have you
story.
ever
that
flown
needs
Spirit, by
no,
the way? I have.
No. The only thing I heard about Spirit is it's cheap, but then you have to fly the plane yourself. So it's like it's not worth the hassle. But anyway, we'll see if Paul can throw a photo up. We had an experience flying back from New York.
Yes.
Do you want to tell the people about that?
So I think we were actually delayed like 3 times or something. So we finally get on the plane and we're like exhausted at this point. And this lady, I think like 2 rows ahead of us or behind us, some like in the near area of us, opens a gallon Ziploc bag of Indian food.
Mhm.
Has her own paper plates. It's like
Mhm.
kind of hot and steamy. Like
Yeah.
you can like, it's like a hot plate of food that she was like making up for her kids. And it was just like, I just literally cannot handle it. I got to actually go to India a couple years ago. And, I'm not a fan of the food. So it kind of just gave
Okay.
me all these memories.
Flashback.
Yeah, flashbacks. So
I don't know if I've eaten a ton of Indian food. I
Mhm.
think I've had
some people
various-
really love it.
various curries and other
Yeah.
things like that. And I think I felt like at the time I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like I felt like Seafood Lady with the this would just drive me nuts. I think now having a child is as weird as it seemed, and in the moment I was like, this is awful. She was just trying to like feed her kids, and maybe she didn't want to pay or didn't couldn't
Yeah.
pay for airplane food. But I'm telling you, then for that was from New York to Dallas flight. The entire airplane smelled like curry or
Of
whatever it
course.
was. So I can only begin to imagine what a half tray, aluminum foil tray of like seafood, lobsters, and other things did. And then what if somebody had a shellfish allergy or something? It's
I
just
don't
weird
know.
recycled air.
Like you can't get rid of that stuff.
You can't crack a
can't-
window.
You can't like get rid of the shells. They're on the flight the whole way.
Exactly.
Anyway, no.
Okay.
Don't-
Well, is there, what's an appropriate food? Because I'll get like snacks.
I
feel
know
like Cheez-Its
my best friend just came to town.
Yeah.
She's from LA. it was Father's Day, so she took back like a whole brisket and like a bunch of bacon. We got her like one of those carry around bags for food and ice packs, and she took that on. But I had it vac
Cold
sealed.
though. It was
It was cold.
Yeah.
She had it I had it vac sealed, like cold packs, all this stuff.
Right.
Like that's good to go. Like she's carrying it on. Fine.
I feel like that's safe. Right?
I know people have carried our food on planes though, like hot.
Yeah.
To go food.
Which I
mean, I would hope. I mean, you know, you guys tell us it smells good.
better than weird lobsters or something. I don't know.
It did kind of look like she stopped at her favorite restaurant before getting on the plane, and like they got her stuff.
What airport restaurant serves in aluminum foil trays?
That's what I'm saying. She was like on vacation and was like going home, and she got the food and then like took it to the airport, and then like she went through check and everything.
Yeah.
Like people do with us.
Right. I don't know.
So that's a no for you?
Well, I even seriously, we've gotten Chick-fil-A, you know, and taking it on the plane, and you're like, well, I'm not hungry now, but I'll eat it. And even then, a little part of me is like, this kind of smells like fried food, you know, is this disturbing someone else? But I think for the most part, people's behavior on planes is abhorrent. I think it's really terrible. And like people will take their shoes off and just
the toes
touch
hanging
everything.
over the edge.
I mean, I get, like, if you have flip-flops, I get it. You know, you're like, whatever, I don't want to wear my flip-flops.
Taking your golden gooses off.
But we've seen, and there's what is it, passenger shaming Instagram, which is a great Instagram. Have you seen that? It's just like people like that, like Seafood Lady, where it's like people that are just behaving ridiculously. But if you follow them, you'll see this is not a random occurrence. Like, people are probably taking lobsters on planes all the time. We just happened to catch this one.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Catch this one.
Well, just in any, like, I think if anything, the pandemic proved that people are just animals, right? Like at the end of the day, like, because that's what somebody was saying. You know, the plane, it lands. It's 15 minutes before they open the door.
They're like,
what happens the second
that the
plane stops? Everyone stands up and is, huddled together. So it's like, I don't know. The taking off of the shoes is, to me, just
why'd
terrible.
you say it like that?
It's weird.
The taking off of the shoes.
What I'm saying is,
no,
like,
I get it. I get what you're saying. 100%.
I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a line, right? Like,
you should just sit there like on your phone or watching the movies, or reading a book. Is what you're trying to say. Turn your light off if everyone's lights off. Also,
well, okay. So now we're getting into what about windows? What about an early morning flight,
close
late
your
night
window.
flight? Okay, but what if somebody's like, I've never been to Topeka. I want to open the.
Kansas? Is it not Kansas?
I want to check out when we land.
5 minutes is good. Turn and then close it.
We've been on flight. We used to travel a lot with business, but we've been on flights where it's like every window in the plane is closed, and then there's one guy that's like, I gotta see what's going on. And
everyone's like, like pretty happy watching movies or sleeping, and then it's just like this one person. Yeah. So, but is that equivalent?
Safe or out?
I mean, it's okay.
Okay, well, I disagree. I disagree strongly, but
the window thing?
The window thing. The light doesn't really bother me as much because some people, like at night, some people can't sleep or whatever. So they're like, I'm going to have the light on. I'm going to read.
All right, yeah. You're right.
I understand that.
I did bring it up. I do think so.
Okay. By the way, this podcast is sponsored by Rar Beer Brewing. So I'm enjoying a Paleta de Mango Chili beer. Chile beer with lime, delicious. What are you having?
Adios Pantalones. It's beer with lemon and lime. Cerveza de Session.
That's how you got pregnant. So it's funny, full circle.
Thank you.
Adios Pantalones. Do you get it? Okay. It's a dumb joke. Dad joke. I gotta up my dad jokes now that I'm officially.
You've always had good jokes.
Officially.
You officially have the title.
I guess. It's crazy. We watched, highly recommend a series on Netflix, The Pop. I actually forgot what it's called. Pop culture. But it's about pop music.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's really good.
And with one of the first episodes, Boys to Men, I'm a huge fan. Boys to Men, have been for a while.
Is it over? Did we watch all of them?
I think so.
Oh.
I know. Well, you were like, the British Rock one came on, and you were like, I don't care about this shit. So we skipped the British Rock. Not a big Oasis fan. Not a big, what are you going to do?
I thought there'd be more about Britney, but there was
Britney was interesting, though. Some of the stuff, like the Swedish, where they talked about the Swedish producers and all that. Yeah. And two, I guess I never put it together, but Boys to Men was like the original pop
boy
group
band,
or whatever, boy band, yeah. And then they kind of talked about, of course, what always happens, and Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, all those other guys just were like, hey, we'll just copy what they're doing and do a shittier version of it.
Well,
everybody
negotiable.
Yeah, okay. Are you
The Boys to Men is so good.
Give me your
no, is that a ranking?
Let's go back to high school. Was this high school or middle school for you when the boy bands were really popping? Middle school?
Middle school.
Late middle school, probably?
Probably about to be high school.
8th grade, maybe?
Yeah.
Give me your...
NSYNC. Backstreet Boys.
You didn't have to think about it. Number one.
98 Degrees.
In that order.
Always 98 Degrees last.
What
Sorry,
about...
Nick. The tats, though, are pretty good.
Wasn't there like another one that like didn't really... O-Town? Is that a thing? That's not a thing. Is it?
Is it?
I remember
Dak
there's
Men?
like a fringe. Because too, what's funny too, when you watch that like 98 Degrees, no one knows the other guys.
It's just the two brothers
Nick
and then
Lachey,
other people.
And then there's like a guy that looks like a 7-Eleven manager. You're like,
Is that the brother?
One of the older guys, I don't know. But he was on that series.
That's
like,
what? Well, 98 Degrees, you're like, okay. But then like Backstreet Boys, okay. All the ladies out there, maybe some gentlemen too. Kevin, Backstreet Boys, completely underrated. Although he did age rather poorly.
He was the guy that looked 40.
Because he
in
was
1998.
40.
Okay.
That's the kicker. It's like he was older than everyone, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that makes sense.
But anyway, that series is really good.
Well, I want to delve into this a little more. So,
Okay.
NSYNC number one.
Of course.
It's not, you didn't even think about it.
Yeah. Well, if you really, I mean, back then is number one is Britney.
Okay.
Because I had a Twitter fight with someone about that not long ago. What was it, Mandy Moore or Britney? Remember?
We did discuss this. Yeah.
And I was like, Mandy Moore? What?
Did we ever talk about that on the podcast?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But Britney forever, so.
It's not even a debate.
I know.
Mandy Moore? Who? Like versus Britney?
I'm Missing You Like Candy, I think is her white one.
All right. Whatever.
But anyway, that like NSYNC, just
Yeah.
JT,
Right.
Headman, like cool.
Joey Fatone, which this is a hack joke, but I've heard like his last name is literally Fat One. Did you ever put that
Yeah.
together? Fat One. He's a fat one.
I saw that on Impractical Jokers.
Did they say that? That makes
Well,
sense.
yeah, and then they went to like his hot dog place or something.
yeah. He does own a chain of hot dog
Which is
restaurants.
like, what?
I mean, hey, you got to make money. They're not making any more hit NSYNC songs, I don't think.
They could.
JT.
Be too expensive now.
JT's doing great.
Yeah. He's come out and said some stuff about like if he could, he would like take back what he said and did to Britney and all this stuff with everything going on with the hashtag Free Britney stuff.
So tell me more about this, because you're my number one news source for all things Britney.
For pop culture.
She is in a
So she's in
conservatorship.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So
So she started going nuts, but then like everyone
Allegedly.
was like basically allegedly,
Yeah.
was she really nuts? Or was it like she was just trying to get away from like, media and whatnot?
Right.
And
we all remember
so then
the head shaving and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
so basically it's been 13 years her parents or her dad like took over her estate, her life, everything, her money, her job, like she
Yeah.
had to work when he has said to work, all this stuff. And so now it's been 13 years and she's like trying to get out of it. So she's
Right.
had to literally go to like court and like meet with counsel and all this stuff about
Right.
trying to get out of this conservatorship.
That's what's come out recently. Her,
Right.
when
And
she
there was
talking
also
to- yeah.
like a show not long ago that she did or that was about this whole thing. And so anyway, they went through like the lawyers and all this stuff. And so recently, well, no, not recently. She's just been kind of like, I'm fine, all this stuff. Well, there's like on her Instagram, it's almost like you're trying to tell us something, Brittany.
Codes. I remember this part, you saying this.
From
with
these true followers of Brittany, it's like, no, something is going on. And like someone even said like, okay, so if you're feeling this way, put like a yellow top on.
If you're like in danger or something,
right.
Or you feel like you're, and that was just one of the comments.
Next video,
next Instagram post.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like Brittany's trying to tell us something.
Yeah, there was also something like hold a rose or something if like XYZ is happening, and she like had a rose in the next one.
Fascinating.
So So anyway, I've just been all about it because she was the first CD I've ever purchased with my own money that wasn't like a religious CD based off my parents' suggestions.
DC Talk or something. Yeah. Jars of Clay.
Jars of Clay. Great ones. So anyway, so it's all coming out now that she's like actually speaking her mind. So like I think this conservativeship was like so aggressively over her that she felt like she couldn't even speak her mind and be herself at all, even if she's like at home posting videos on Instagram. And so apparently like this past week she went to court and actually was like, I'm just miserable. I can't handle this. No one is actually seeing what's happening. And so she actually spoke her mind, which like all of the followers are like, hell yes. Like, let's free Brittany for real now. So
can I make a counterpoint?
Yeah.
Kevin Federline.
He came out this week and said yeah. I mean,
not a great decision, right?
It's not.
If we're,
but like
we're
what?
Putting it on a
lot of like famous people have made poor decisions.
J-Lo.
And regular people.
J-Lo's also married multiple.
What I want to get back to.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Is that people are saying that she was so aggressively sought after by paparazzi, so aggressively like taken advantage of by the media and by like, work and all this stuff that is really why she acted out, which I mean, I think there is some actual mental stuff going on, but that's what they're saying is like the actual reason is why she really lost it, because people were completely hounding her nonstop. And like, even with her babies, like, going after her 50 people, 100 people. Yeah. So I kind of get why she freaked out.
Imagine that. And I think too, there's got to be something to that added tremendous mental stress.
You can never be yourself.
But I think too, with specifically with her and those Christina Aguilera, I guess she had issues or whatever, but pre-social media was different even, because it's not like now you could literally pull up your phone and be like, I don't even know a famous person singer right now. I was trying to think of one. Whatever the girl that Justin Bieber married or whatever. She sings, right?
Haley. No, she's a model.
Well, okay.
Doja Cat.
Sure. Doja Cat. Yeah, I couldn't pick out of a lineup, but I would imagine this Mrs. Cat, you could pull up on Instagram and see exactly what she's doing. Now, back in the day, it was like Tiger Beat or whatever. Like that was.
Oh yeah.
These paparazzi were like, whatever. They were the ones saying like, look at what this idiot's doing today, and getting a bunch of money.
But it's like everything has become okay at this stage, and I think it's like when Brittany started coming up. I mean, there's things where in that documentary, I forget what it's like on Hulu or something, but it's like they're literally asking her like, so are you a virgin?
Right.
Like straight up just asking her like, oh, you think you can wear shirts like that? And she's just like, I like to dress like this. And, it's crazy. It's insane what people would ask, which like nowadays it's like everyone just kind of posts what they're doing. But to ask like a 16-year-old girl, hey, are you a virgin? Like, is that appropriate?
Well, first of all, no one like cares now or whatever,
Yeah.
I feel like.
But so then JT comes out and says today, like, my bad for like basically like also contributing to everything that went on with you.
Well, yeah. I mean, who knows? All right.
Anyway, hashtag
Heim
free Britney.
Time, hashtag free Britney, your number one Britney related news source
Well.
from our correspondent, Emma Heim. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so that's wild. I think, too, with the pop thing, the other thing that we kind of talked about was there's an episode on music festivals, which we love a good music festival. Watching it and like Glastonbury and Woodstock and all that, your immediate reaction now is like, this is uncomfortable, right? There's 100,000 people that are 1 inch away from each other's faces, and maybe it's just the COVID shock, which I wonder when, if ever, that's going to go away.
Changed.
But do you think that's coming back? I mean, I feel like most people don't care.
We talked about that. Like we know people that are like obsessed with concerts, and so they're definitely going back. I mean, you and I, we have a list of people we want to see. Yeah, but
I'm not going to be in the pit though.
Well, see, I always have this thing. I don't know if this is like a thing, but like I like to know where a restroom is, at all times, just in case. Sure. And like, how do you use the restroom?
Yeah, like specifically at those things where like there's 50,000 people between you and the porta potty.
And there's 100 million people in the line for the porta potty.
What do you do in this situation? And we've had not at like a Metallica show, but we've had Avett Brothers, Dave Matthews, where we've gone like in the pit, Dead and Company, which is always a great time.
Always.
And I just don't like it, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe that's not my cup of tea or whatever, but I'd rather like be further back at a comfortable position where I can hear everything and see everything. See, that's not as big of a concern for me.
Why
maybe
it is for me.
With you. But
I just want to know.
I don't know. Like I guess most of the Dallas concerts we've seen have been at Jexa or whatever the hell they call it now.
Yeah. What is that called now?
Dos Equis, Smirnoff, whatever. And so I like being in the lawn. I feel like that's more comfortable. Yeah. But I don't know.
So, who do you want to see?
I would love to see Dead and Company.
October,
I think they're playing in October. They're playing Wrigley Field again, which we went to a couple years back. Was awesome. They're finishing the tour at the Hollywood Bowl.
I think that would be cool.
So that would be awesome. How young is too young to take your daughter to a Grateful Dead show?
Wait, when do they in October, November? You'll almost be one. Too young.
I wonder what the effects of drugs are on a child. Just peripherally, if you're just in the vicinity of drugs, it's probably
if you do that though, more power to you.
Yeah, no disrespect, but it's hard to separate the two at a Grateful Dead show because it's just you're just around it, and that's kind of their vibe, which it's fun if you're into the music. And
I'm talking about taking your infant.
No, that's what I mean. It's like, but people are out there with their kids.
Oh yeah, we sat next to people with a kid last time.
They don't have shoes on, which is a dead giveaway. You're like, well, they're probably not making the best decisions. But who the Avett Brothers? They haven't announced anything.
They haven't.
I love them. I don't think so.
You know what I want to do?
What
is go to that comedian Nate
Bargatze?
Yeah, I really like him. That guy.
He's funny.
I really, really like him. He's like super dry like you, and I think that's my cup of tea, right up my alley.
Easy. Like, I don't think he's single, so.
He's not. Neither am I. What are you talking about? No, like his jokes.
Yeah. He's funny.
Yeah.
And he's not playing in Texas for some reason, so
come to
maybe
Texas.
We can get him to come. Yeah, he's a big Vanderbilt fan too, and they're in the College World Series right now, so I'm sure he's excited about that. He's also a big golfer, and I guess I'll go into golf talk real quick because that's something that we got a few questions about. My golf game is not the best right now.
Let's rewind. Hold on. What did you get to do?
Right.
In May? Was that May?
May, probably, yeah.
What did you get to do?
I was fortunate enough fortunate enough to participate in the Colonial Pro-Am,
Woohoo!
the Charles Schwab Challenge Pro-Am, I
Shout
guess I
out
should
Schwab.
say. But everyone in Fort Worth calls it Colonial. A good friend of mine, Martin, got a team, and so I was able to join him, and so you weren't the happiest about it because I had to practice a lot. I was practicing quite a bit, neglecting our probably work and family responsibilities so that I could practice golf, which in the end was probably one of the best rounds of my life. So I'm really proud of that.
That's why I said it.
So maybe I should neglect my responsibilities more often so that I will be a better golfer. No, probably not. Okay, quiet. No, so I practice a lot. It rained a lot. I've played golf a little bit growing up, but I was never. I played in some junior varsity tournaments, but never really did like that great. So it's kind of a crapshoot whenever I go out.
I feel like
but
golf is always, but
it's when you play with people that know what they're doing, it's
Yeah.
really, you're like, oh, that's the
Oh.
point of this. Like, it's like,
that's the point of it.
yeah, it's just a little more enjoyable, I guess. But I practiced a lot. I felt really good. I had 2 birdies,
Yeah.
which was good, and a par, and then I missed another par putt, which for me were net eagles. So I don't know how familiar you are
I
with
do.
the
That's like your
handicap
handicap.
system.
Yeah, I get it.
So I led the team. Was 5 under. So I mean, it's not a big deal, but we had a great time. We played Colonial, and you had some friends come out too.
Yeah.
So we had, I think, like the biggest crowd that was there. I will say an interesting moment. We were the 3rd group, I think, to tee off, and the first group, Phil Mickelson had just won the tournament the week before, so he was in the first group. He hits a phenomenal shot. We're on 10 at Colonial, so there's like a little brick wall kind of here, and then it sort of opens up to the putting green and all this other stuff. The point of that is there's like 300 people around, probably. Like literally everyone that's there is there right now
For Mickelson.
to watch. Yeah. So he does great hits. We're standing there 5 feet away. The first amateur to go up, some guy, they're like, announce, Jim, whatever. And, you could tell a little bit nervous. And he goes up to the ball, hits it maybe 4 feet, like maybe 4
That's
feet.
what I would do.
Shit, like I'm surprised he hit the ball, like barely hit the ball, and then it kind of dribbled over to the left. Was next to the brick wall, right? So then it's like, yeah, so you can take a club length or whatever. Martin immediately goes, I shouldn't have seen that. I shouldn't have
Did he
seen
start
that.
to feel bad?
He was like nervous
Questioning.
about when he was going to go up. So we're like, oh God. And then we're like, just pick it up, right? Like, don't try to hit it again.
From the wall?
From next to the wall.
Yeah.
5 feet in front of where you just hit, with the guy that's a multiple major winners, like looking over your shoulder. So he didn't do that. So he took a club length and then out of the deep rough next to the tee box, decided to hit it. And then the second shot went 20 feet into the water right there. And so, yeah, I mean, he's fine. I'm sure he's rich. Like he's playing with Phil Mickelson. So, but the point of that is we were like, oh, this is pretty
Just makes
serious,
you feel bad
right?
inside about your own game.
You're just like, I was feeling great. And then I was just like, oh, okay, the pressure's on. So when we went up, I posted this on Twitter, but I just, as quickly as possible, hit a 5-iron. Just
You did. You were like walked up
smooth.
and like, boom.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to think about it. I'm going to throw the ball down and I'm going to hit. And it worked out great. And I hit it more than 5 feet, and I also didn't hit it in the water. So that was the only thing that I was going for on that swing.
How about your pros?
Yeah.
Who were you with?
We were with Mackenzie Hughes, who is a Canadian gentleman.
That makes sense because he was really nice. He was so nice.
Like he couldn't not be nice. I think that's just kind of what
he was like, hi, ladies, like to all me and my friends. I was like, oh, hi.
And then Cameron Tringale, who I didn't care for. I
Yeah.
didn't really like him. He
Yeah.
was kind of a douche, and whatever. They do that every week, so I understand.
Oh
that.
yeah, I bet some
You're
of them are
probably
like, this
like-
sucks.
Yeah, they're like, why don't I talk to this weird bearded guy? But Hughes could not have been nicer. He was like helping us read putts. Well, a couple holes in, so it was my little brother Tucker caddied for me. Our good friend Dan caddied for Martin. The two other guys we played with, two of my best friends. And so we're just busting balls. We're just joking. Like somebody hits a bad shot and we're just like destroying each other,
Yeah,
which helps, I think, cut the tension,
Yeah.
where, not as
golf
much
is
nerves.
serious.
It's very serious, and especially in that format. And so it was this second or third hole where I'm walking with Mackenzie and somebody hits a bad one. And then I think it was Dan just, like the rudest thing he could possibly say, said to the individual. And Mackenzie goes, "Do you guys know each other?" And I was like, "Yeah."
About Dan.
Well, because he was like, "Do you guys,
Haha,
are
Dan.
you guys friends?" And we're like, no, we know each other. We're good friends. Because I don't think that, I think it's a lot of
You should
times
have
it's
said
just random.
no.
Yeah, but then he would have felt uncomfortable. So then after that point, he was like, "Oh, it's just a bunch of idiots making fun of each other that are all good friends." So then he opened up.
Oh, I get
And,
it. Okay.
And he was hitting great shots. He had,
Yeah, he did
I want to
good.
say maybe three birdies for us. And so we played the front nine with him. And just like, I mean, it's insane. Just the shots they hit and their margin of error on certain things. He's upset that he hits it 5 feet, over where he wanted to. He helped me read some putts a couple times, which was awesome. And then fast forward in the U.S. Open that just happened, he was in first place going in the final day, and we
Mhm.
were all like really, really rooting for him because he was just such a nice guy, and he just that didn't work out well. He played really poorly in that, but still probably made like $250,000, So it's like I'm sure
Doesn't suck.
his family and everything is still they're happy, but Tringali didn't do anything. I don't even think he had a birdie for us. He was like just, a walk in the park. So but he could hit it a mile. So that was fun. I played really well, I think, just because I, practice a million times. I've played once since then, maybe, and did not go well. So I think it's just one of those things where I have to just practice. I'm really proud. I want to give a shout out to my good friend Bob Sturm.
Yeah. I love Bob.
He's a great guy. He's a good dude and big time golfer. He just broke 80 for the first time, which is a pretty
Oh.
big deal, right? So
Congrats.
for hacks like us, I think he shot a 78 or a 79 somewhere in Dallas. So shout out to Bob.
He's really tall.
He is tall.
So does that make your game difficult? I would feel like, I don't know. I mean, I know your clubs are like longer and stuff if you're tall, but
Yeah, sometimes.
I feel like
yeah.
I would be like, ugh.
Yeah,
don't know.
It seems harder.
It does.
I got like short arms. I can kind of
Yeah.
just, crank one, and he I think it's a little bit tougher. But like that Tringali guy, he was
He's tall.
pretty tall and lanky, and he could just crush the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bob, he's great. So shout out to him. So that's one of the questions we had was, what's the plan to shoot sub 80 for me?
Uh-huh.
It may be out of the question for me. I
Really?
think. Well, it's
What's
just,
the best you ever did?
I mean, in high school, I shot in the 70s all the time. I don't think I've ever shot in the 60s.
Like nowadays.
Now?
Yeah.
Well, I broke 90 a couple months back. 88.
That was your goal for a while, right?
Yeah, 88 and 89, and then that's kind of the course that I play at a lot. Shady Oaks is just really, really hard too. So it's like you have to kind
Yeah.
of factor that in. But 80, I think genuinely to answer that question would have to be, and my friend Philip Poole I think asked that, but I probably have to practice like 2 or 3 times a week. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just
Is this you asking?
No,
just kidding.
no, I don't need to ask. I'll just do it. But I don't know. I think
All right,
I'm
'cause you telling me.
comfortable. I'm comfortable being around 90 because, if you have a handicap, you can play with friends. I'm not playing. And there's some guys I've talked to and guys that I've played with where they were like, yeah, the last week we were out at this country club and we played for $20,000 for a
Oof.
match. And they're good. And I guess they can do that. And they also have a lot of money to waste. But, I like to play for like $1 a hole,
Yeah.
maybe, or like, especially like Martin. If Martin and I play, we'll just be like, okay, you have to buy the beers.
Right.
And by beers, I mean White Claw because we like to drink White
Yum.
Claws. Even though it's not like a guy thing, whatever. But now I'm just going to drink Rar and Sons beer
Heck
because
yeah.
it's my favorite beer.
Is that one pretty good?
It's
Might need to
good.
crack one.
It's delicious. Paleta de mango. I really enjoy it.
My
And this
Adios
is great.
Pantalones is gone.
Okay, we have more right here. Can I grab?
Let me try the one with the spices.
Yeah, sorry. Don't mind us.
Rarchulata.
We got a babysitter, so we're just gonna get drunk. This is not really. I mean, I'm sorry you're
Paul,
here,
you want
Paul,
one?
but we're just kind
Is this,
of.
is this allowed?
Yeah, we're just
I'm
here to have a
gonna
good
pop
time.
another one.
Oh.
That was really loud.
What was the sound of that? A delicious Rar and Sons beer you just
Yeah.
opened? Okay.
Rarchulata.
Is this
Oh,
ASMR? Yeah.
This is really
alright.
good.
Is it?
Yeah. I love the can too.
Adios Pantalones. Delicious. I'm a fan. I'll have to try
Okay.
that one next.
All right.
So,
So,
no, that
golf.
was enough golf talk, right?
So, a question that I think about because I love to travel.
Sure.
Is it difficult to travel with your clubs? Like, because I know, like, we've gone to Hawaii and, like, you were like, we got to play
Kapalua.
Kapalua. You played, I sat at the pool and drank pina coladas.
Right.
But, like,
Had a
is
great
it
time.
difficult to travel with your clubs? Because I know we've got travel in our future, but will you bring your clubs or?
Probably. I mean, I'm not. That's a big golf guy move. Like, I gotta I can't play any other.
Because you can rent clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems weird.
But then it's not like your clubs.
like Top Golf.
Right. And so if you're a hard ass like me, you're going to bring your own clubs
Yeah.
to Top Golf. So I think most guys and most players would bring their own,
Mhm.
but it probably wouldn't make a difference for me, I mean, most of the time I just want to
shoot
go
yourself short.
No, I'm there to have fun, and it's like a fun,
Yeah.
deal to do. And so maybe we'll make a plan to break 80. We'll see. But
Okay.
I don't have enough. I got too much shit to do between our kid and work and everything else,
Our
and
kid.
opening
Oh, I miss
more
it.
restaurants. So once she's big enough, then I can just take her in the golf cart.
Oh,
we'll
she'll
cruise
love that.
around. She loves the pool. Loves going in
Yeah.
the pool, even though we just kind of like dip her in. She doesn't really like
6 months.
do anything.
Can't
yet.
expect much.
But yeah, so that Pro-Am was awesome. That was great.
Yeah, that was really fun. And we got margaritas after at Joe T's.
Heck yeah.
Hung
Yeah.
out.
We were there last night, actually.
Yeah.
With family.
That's funny.
They're often. No, but that was fun. I had a great time, but I was really nervous at first, and then it just kind of wore off. And then
Yeah.
I think that helped me play better. But
Well,
pretty
you got
exciting.
the most cheers.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I felt good about it. I was gonna say, or no, I want. I mean, who cares about that? What should we talk about next?
F1.
Dead air. F1. This is a little crazy. Red Bull is in the lead.
Is this it? Like, is this the moment we were waiting for? Were we
If
waiting
you're a
for
Red Bull
this?
fan, I don't know.
What do
Are
we
you a Red
think?
Bull fan?
So I really love F1.
Yeah,
I really do. I think it's awesome.
because of Drive to Survive.
Well, and
we
also
started with.
in my car, I like to just go fast.
Right.
Like I like to drive really fast. I love it. So anyway,
Fort Worth Police Department knows all about that.
yeah, well, you get a discount. So, what I was gonna say was, I enjoy it, but I would say I have like a handful of teams that I like.
Okay.
I'm not like a, Lewis or die or
Well, some
Verstappen.
people, yeah. Is it a driver? Do you root for a driver or do you root for a
That's
team
what
first?
I have a question about too, because like I like McLaren.
Yeah,
And
I do too.
But do we love the drivers or do we love, like, I've always loved McLaren cars. So,
Yeah.
or Ferrari, always love, obviously, who doesn't want a Ferrari or like to look at them?
Right.
Or do you like the driver?
Right.
So, anyway, with Lewis, it's kind of like, or Hamilton, it's kind of just like, well, it just needs to happen. Like, it's not that
Someone else
fun.
needs to win. It's like the Yankees. or
Yes,
whatever.
and I
Yeah.
do, I do love Hamilton and Mercedes,
Mhm.
obviously, but it is not that much fun to watch the same outcome every single race.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to see like Max step in and dominate a little bit
Yeah.
because he's killing it.
He's doing great, and even then, I mean, well, I guess I don't know when this will release or whatever, but they just had the Austrian
Mm-hmm.
or the Styrian. I think Austrians this week, but it's the same course, so that doesn't really make sense. But anyway, he won. But then the one last week was when they beat Hamilton right, like
At the
coming
end.
out of the pits. Yeah, and so that was a little thing, and then that was the Bottas deal where then Mercedes is like, basically like, we don't care about you, Bottas. Like, we're
Mhm.
focusing everything on Hamilton. So I don't know if it's announced if he's going somewhere else next year, but if I was him, I would get the hell out of there because, But
He could get out and then beat Hamilton.
well,
But they have the best
not
cars.
if he goes for like Williams or something.
Williams,
I
don't,
mean,
okay.
But
That-
that's like Raikkonen's with Alfa Romeo and
Yeah.
is a phenomenal driver, but he may get 10th, or something, but he's
Because of the
never gonna
cars.
get it. Yeah. So, but then like George Russell, I think
Yeah.
they want him on Mercedes, so that may be
They might, they
may
might
try
get
to
him
replace.
and Bottas is out.
I think if I probably root for Ferrari the most, just because I like Ferrari and I like the history of it.
Beautiful.
I like Mercedes. I like Toto.
The
Push, Lewis, push.
the coach guy, the boss.
Yeah, principal, I think, is what it's
Principal.
called. Is a more
Call me that from
more
now on.
fancy team principal is the official title. But I respect them and like we're gonna just kick ass for like 10 years and do the best. But it is nice to see somebody else win.
Right. That's my only thing.
And Max is maybe
Mm.
not the guy you want to win, because he's kind of like ego and all that.
But you kind of you have to be ego driven,
Yeah.
I think, in that role, especially seeing Hamilton win every
Right.
week. He's like, I know I can do it.
I
I
can beat
know
this
I can
guy."
get there. I just have to do it.
Right.
And he's doing it now, which is kind of cool on that aspect of it.
I agree. I think.
Is he who I'd want? No, but
Who would you want?
Ferrari.
Just in general.
I don't know.
You like Leclerc.
I love Leclerc.
You think he's?
He's just a tiny tines, I think.
Well, they all are.
I know.
They're all
They're
3 feet tall.
No, they're like 5. Some of them are like 5'10". Daniel's like 5'10". 5'11".
Ricardo?
Yeah. I've
Um,
Googled it.
Weird.
I was wondering.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's gonna come down to the end, and then two, what's really gonna matter is Perez for Red Bull and Bottas for Mercedes,
Mhm.
because like even this last race, they kind of Red Bull screwed up. They were almost 5 seconds in the pits, and then Bottas got third. So then Hamilton second and third, but it could have been Perez in third.
Yeah.
So I wonder it's probably like. I bet Max and Hamilton are going to be 1-2 probably forever the rest of the time, but then the rest of the battle.
Right.
And then if Bottas is just like, screw these guys and doesn't really try, then that could affect the end, which,
How actually Mercedes comes out in the end.
well, like in the constructors,
Mhm.
championship. So I don't know. Very interesting.
I know. I do like it. It's fun.
It's fun and it's cool. Like I think too, hopefully we can go to Austin, but
I was
going
going
to
to ask, is that happening?
As far as I know, but I'd love to go to like Italy, like Monza or something, see some of those
Okay.
like
I'm down.
races. Monaco would be awesome. But yeah, it's like literally $50,000.
I just have an issue with that part of it.
Like, let me rent out a yacht so I can watch a hour-long race.
Let's talk about meat.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
How expensive is brisket?
It's a nightmare.
How's your beer?
I need more if we're going to talk about that.
I know, it's terrible.
As of this week, it's gone down, but we peaked at $5.30 a pound for brisket,
Wow.
and then this week I believe we're at $5.25 a pound. So I think we've seen.
And an average brisket is how many pounds?
I mean, a case is 75 pounds ish, so we're
Wow.
probably like 15 pounds raw per brisket. And that's the thing too, like everybody gets it, you know, that's in barbecue, but you're like, we had to increase our prices for a number of reasons, but meat was the main one. Excuse me, but this delicious raw beer. But you get people come in and they're like, oh my God, this costs $12 to eat here, you know, it's like we pay $5.30 a pound for brisket, and let's say we start with the 15-pound brisket. Not to get into all the, you know, whatever, how the sausage is made, you know, as they say, but we may trim 2 pounds-ish, 2 pounds or more of just fat and just other stuff off of that raw brisket that we can't, you know, you can't serve it. No matter what you do, you cook it, it's not going to be edible. It's just like hard fat, whatever. Some of that we save, we turn into beef tallow. Some of the good meat from that we save and we grind it into our burgers. So at least for us, we're not throwing it away. Most places will use it, grind it in sausage and stuff. So I think it's rare that people throw that away, but some places do. So then let's say we have a 13-pound brisket from what we started with, what we paid for. That in our briskets is going to yield 60%, maybe 55% to 60%, I would say, because you have a lot of water content, all that stuff. So it's going to shrink. If you were using a Wagyu brisket or something like that, like we've tested before and I've cooked, you know, plenty of, it's way more. I mean, you're looking at like a 40% yield, maybe, you know, of like, it's just going to shrink to nothing. So it's not really practical to use that for a restaurant, but some people do. But so let's say with us, our CAB Prime, we're lucky. Maybe. And instead of 50%, 55, we get a 60% yield on that. So then that leaves us with, you know, what, 6.5, 7 pounds, you know, brisket of that. And this is if it's cooked perfectly, right? For 14 hours with a wood fire. So all of the wood we're using plus labor, plus all the ancillary, you know, butcher paper, all that other stuff.
Rub,
but pepper is a fortune, literally. I mean, it's insane. So all of that stuff. So then you get a 6-pound, 7-pound brisket. Of that 7-pound brisket, can I get a perfect slice out of all 7 pounds? No. There's certain parts of it where especially it may get hot, you know, in this part it may get burned up. But as much of that as possible, we use either in sliced brisket or we use it in chopped. You know, we can use some of it in our burgers that we do. Yeah. We can use some of it in our potato skins and all that. So let's say of that 7 pounds, just being completely generous, we have about 6 pounds that we can use from a 15-pound brisket that we started with, paying $5.30 a pound.
Food cost.
So when you come in, and you're like, oh my God, this is so expensive. You know, it's like most people get it, but some people don't understand that whole process. Not to mention by the time it gets in the kitchen, then what are we doing? Paying labor and everything else just to be able to serve it, and all the other stuff. So it's a, you know, oh, meat prices are up. Well, you don't look at like all of the other things that go into it and how it affects like the big picture. But there are some places that were like, well, for one, at one point, there's a local distributor. You can even buy briskets in town, you know, and that was an issue. Luckily, we have a great meat supplier, Lone Star Meats out of Austin, that we love and I'll support forever because they're really, really great partners. So we didn't have those issues, but, you know, there's nothing they can do about the price. And then pork prices went up. But
well, it's like availability, though, right? I mean, Ed can't go and be like, here's more cows magically.
Yeah, and even
unfortunately,
then, this time of year, cattle grades out, you know, like it's like somewhere between 5 to 10% of cattle grade out at prime.
Right.
which 10% is really like BS that they tell you. It's closer to 5% probably the grade out at prime of that. And two, whenever they're grading the ribeye,
Mhm.
so it's like they're not like individually cutting open every brisket and looking at it. So there's some times where you may get a prime brisket that's really a choice brisket, but you can't really do anything about that. But so anyway, that's another problem of
Right.
mine. 5% of that. So what we buy, certified Angus beef, their prime briskets, they have to meet certain requirements, all this stuff. They allege that between 2 and 2.5%, 3% of all cattle grade out and meet their specifications. So we're not
Crazy.
helping ourselves any by
No.
buying what we buy, but
It's delicious though.
it's delicious, and people have still paid for it. We raised prices because there's wage inflation. There's all sorts of crazy issues that restaurants are dealing with that are some are COVID related, some aren't, and we had to raise prices, but for the most part, I'll say, like, knock on wood, but everyone's really gone for it, and I think too
Yeah.
there's a huge thing where people like. As everyone's getting more comfortable, they're like, I've wanted to come to this restaurant for the past year. It's like
100%.
people are like,
Ready.
I want to support you guys.
Mhm.
And some people were able to support with to go and stuff like that. But, people have been under financial stress
But
and
you
have
see,
had
yeah,
issues where they
yeah,
couldn't even do that. So
it's crazy.
I've seen where now the majority of customers and, if we go to a restaurant, we're in the industry, we understand like,
Mhm.
I go to Tex-Mex place and I get it. They have to raise prices on all their stuff. And, if service sucks and it's a little slow, then you're like, well, I understand because
Yeah.
it's really hard to
It's
hire
affecting
people
everyone.
and it's tough. But allegedly what we've seen is meat prices have reached their peak and then they're going back down. So as long as
Who's to
like,
say though?
well, the, market and futures are kind of, predicting that and showing that, which that's great.
Good.
But then like, JBS got hacked by some Russian
Oh yeah.
hackers. So it's like something like that could happen
So
and
weird.
completely destabilize an entire country, So it's like, who knows? But hopefully,
Okay.
hopefully that doesn't happen. I had a few questions on Twitter that I'll
Okay.
look up real quick. Is there anything else on the notes or something you wanted to discuss?
I didn't get any good questions. I just got like, how do you trim baby's nails?
Okay.
Like, not anything good.
Which is difficult.
It is
to
difficult,
be
and for
fair.
some reason, it's like every day you have to do it for, like, they grow so fast. So anyway, you just do it. That's how you do it.
But
Erica Jane drama.
Erica Jane,
Dude.
spell it out. Who is that?
Anybody watch Bravo?
What is an Erica Jane?
Are most of our listeners male?
I don't really know, to be honest. Probably.
Erica Jane.
We've already talked about Britney Spears, so
Yeah,
we're just getting a little
talk
bit of
about
everything.
it. Bravo
yeah.
housewife or housewives from Bravo, Beverly Hills. She is married to, what's his name? Tom Girardi, who is the lawyer in Aaron Brockovich, the movie.
Right.
So
Which I didn't
what
know
was
that.
like billion dollar, like
Settlement, yeah.
55 million or something insane.
Way more than 55.
I thought it was like
yeah.
billions.
It was a lot.
Okay. Whatever. Anyway, it was a ton of money. So he did that back in the day. So
Right. Great
everybody
lawyer.
for years in Beverly Hills and beyond has wanted to use him. He has a wife that's a housewife, and honestly, one of my faves from back in the day and currently, until this information came out that they are possibly like, I don't want to share too much, but it seems as though, no, let's say this. She all of a sudden, she's obsessed with this dude. He's 30 years older, obsessed. I don't know if that's true or not, or if he just has money. They are getting a divorce and everyone's like, what's going on? Because Erica's like, I will never divorce him. He's my person, blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out that he may be like stealing the money that people are being rewarded for their lawsuits.
For the settlement, yeah.
For the settlements, exactly. And Erica has like openly said, I use $40,000 a month for like my Glam team, $40,000.
I'm sorry, can you describe a glam team for our listeners?
Like hair,
Okay.
makeup.
Yeah.
And she doesn't just do like come curl my hair. It's like you're putting in fake hair. You got like, everything you could ever want. All of the makeup, all the jewels, everything.
Yeah.
$40,000 a month on that. And so now,
which is only one of their many expenses, I bet.
right.
So.
Well, cars, everything. And then it's coming out now that people are like, so where's that money that I should have been given for my lawsuit?
Right.
And it's starting kind of to say, okay, Erica is possibly taking that money and using it for herself. And also
he is broke.
Yeah, it came out that he's completely broke.
He has no money.
Had millions in the bank down to he's selling his $13 million mansion.
Right.
All of this stuff.
And all of this money that was being saved or invested and then allocated to these people who have horrendous injuries from these various lawsuits. All of that money is gone.
Yep.
So we're not alleging anything, but I guess
people never got anything.
It's like,
or they might have gotten like 1 or 2 checks and then they stopped coming.
Right.
So she's Erica Girardi.
$40,000 purses every day, and
and that's probably cheap. She also has like this what is this? Another personality type
alter ego.
So she's
Stage
also
name.
She's Erica Girardi, but she's also Erica Jane, which is like a show girl, basically. Like she's very
it's expensive to be me.
Yes, she has songs. It's expensive to be me. Painkiller is another one. But they're just like, he basically was like, I will fund you. I will give you the money to be a superstar singer, is what she always wanted to be. This also started at the age of 50 for her. So it's kind of interesting. And so that's another thing now that people are like, so our money is also going into this like alter ego, this show person. She's been on Bravo too. She is talented, but it's kind of an interesting thing. So more is coming out on that, but
we'll keep you posted here. If we've proven
Listen to
anything.
Heim Time about Erica Jane.
We have all of the hit pop news.
Well, it's more. It's not even about her. It's more interesting about him. Like, it's like, dude, you are one of the best. Like, everybody knows Aaron Brockovich and that story that he took a chance on her.
Famous lawyer.
I mean, and then they killed it with that lawsuit, and now it's like he couldn't be more in the toilet with this story.
Fell in love with the housewife.
And she was a waitress, 20 years old when they met.
Nice.
He was like 60. It's fine. It's fine.
Things are different. 2021. Let's go in a completely different. Was it years ago? Oh, no,
when they met, like 30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, in a completely different direction.
Okay.
One of the questions we got from Regina Barbecue on Twitter. How did you know it was time to open a second location?
Oh, we talked about this.
Have we already answered this?
Well, we talked about it like when we were just kind of explaining why we do what we do.
Oh. I'll say before you answer briefly that shout out to Evie Mays. They just opened their second location.
Mallory and Arnis. We love you guys.
Lubbock. They're technically in Wolfworth, but then the new one is in Lubbock proper.
Today.
And I saw they said 2 7 days a week. So welcome to the crazy club with the crazy people. Now it's
you can do it.
Oh yeah, they'll be fine. I mean, they make great stuff. So, but shout out to them. So, how did you know that it was time to do a second location?
Well, when we opened Magnolia, I knew immediately. I knew the week we opened Magnolia, we were going to need a bigger spot, and I remember telling you that. I was like, we can't. This isn't going to be big enough. And Magnolia is like, I call it our little tugboat. It just keeps going. It's the best.
They're doing awesome.
We saw downfalls in that building and that location and what we could put out and what we could do. And we knew that we wanted to take those issues and then correct them into our second location, which is now our river location, which is huge. And, and that was another thing about COVID where that really like showed exactly what River could do.
Yeah.
And what we had dreamed for River. River started slow.
Yeah.
And I get it because it's so different from Magnolia and but it was like people felt comfortable to come and sit and either be inside because it is a large space, or they could go outside on the deck, or they could go outside in the backyard area. And
Yeah.
people were like, we can do this. This is cool. We're not like,
Curbside.
we were more than 6 feet apart from people. Like
Yeah.
it's all good. Yeah. And we offered curbside there. But when we reopened, people felt comfortable to come there.
Right.
And
If
so,
anything, with COVID, you really understand a need for outdoor space, patio
Right.
space, or even just a bigger space where it's, not, which that's part of restaurants. Restaurants are so expensive that historically you have to cram as many tables as possible in a small area. Well, that's not what you wanted this
Right.
last year, so.
and Sweet Maggie's had like 24 seats.
Yeah, literally with
So
the 50% occupancy.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Yeah, I think for us, one, it was the demand, because two, you have to remember when we decided to open a second place, we were the only craft barbecue place.
That's
so
true.
like, we were like, oh man, this is awesome. Sales are great. We see a need for, to open because people want it. And then even it took us a year and a half to open. And since then, 50 places have opened, it feels
50?
like, and no, but a lot of places have opened in Fort Worth. So that too, I mean, I think that's now where, like, when we're looking at opening, more restaurants, we're looking more like Burleson. We're looking more like West.
Yeah.
You want to go to an area that needs it. Don't just go like a block away from
Right.
a place, which, I guess you can get some sort of peripheral business or whatever off of that, but I don't really like that model or whatever idea. But I think for us, it was just, we saw a need of, like, there was definitely, room to grow within the market. There was a need for more, of our style of barbecue. We felt strongly that we had the team and we had the resources and everything to be able to pull that off. I'm sure, like, Arnis and Mallory are going through this and everything, but too, it's like, there's plenty of opportunities. And if you do well, like, I'm sure these folks are doing well, making great barbecue, you're going to get opportunities to open. And we've probably said no 5,000 times, maybe,
Yeah.
if you count every day for the last 6 years plus, whatever, to where even with Dallas was a very unique opportunity that we had been looking for a long time, but it everything had to fall in place
But
to
that
where we
goes
were comfortable.
with what you're saying. Like, we're looking now, or Burleson, other
Yeah.
locations outside of like our home of Fort Worth, and that's Dallas was the next one after
Right.
River, because we were like, we can't do another one. We felt the drive to do another one, but it couldn't be in Fort Worth.
And even then, we felt really, really strongly that we had a great leadership team. We had all these people that,
Yeah.
could handle it. And then the week before we opened, our GM just quit.
He straight up ghosted. No, we were open a week.
Oh, well,
We
it was
were
like soft
open.
open, right? We
But
weren't
we were
officially open.
we were open. We were doing breakfast tacos.
Yeah, Jesus. So too, I mean, it's like,
Ghosted.
it was a great plan. And then we had a director of ops at the time that helped out. So it should have been a disaster. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. Like, I'm really amazed that the
I
Dallas
was
store is just
super pregnant.
crushing right now. You were pregnant. I had to pull you out of expoing in the kitchen. You were driving me insane.
Yeah, I
'cause
can't
you
handle
don't
it.
listen to me,
I
but
can't
you
help
were
it.
just in there when we were training. And so, again, like, you want to make sure you have a staff and a crew who you can rely on, who
Yeah.
can do that. You may even feel confident like us, and then things, you get a curveball, and then
Mhm.
you're like, okay, plan B, plan C, plan D, whatever.
We're on like D.
Probably
Dallas.
at this point. Yeah. I
It's
mean,
going
it's just,
so good though.
that's
now.
the fun
Dallas
of
is-
restaurants, is like every day is a new challenge that
Mhm.
you're kind of,
And that's the thing
dealing
too, is
with,
like you
but-
can have a plan, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to anyone. Like, you can set out and be like, this is what it's gonna be, unless it's you or I 1,000% in there every single day,
Yeah.
then it's not gonna go exactly how you want. And we've had to deal with that, and have to like let that soak in, like, okay. And I talk about this, like the framework of things, like maybe it's not the way we would have done it, but
Right.
it's still working and our team's still killing it.
right.
And we're still moving forward and doing what we love, and so it's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a famous football coach, Lou Holtz, who used to say there's 3 things that would happen in every game that would be like, bad would be an issue or something. Somebody's going to fumble, somebody's going to
Right.
intercept, or
You
something's
shouldn't
going
be
to happen.
surprised, I guess.
No, like, and not like we're trying to do those things, but the point of it was, those things are going to happen. It's how you react to them that's
Yes.
going to make you successful
I
or not
agree.
successful.
Mm-hmm.
So I always felt like apply that to business. It
Right.
makes sense. But I feel like sometimes we've had like, isn't this like the 30-second thing that's gone wrong?
But I
You're
guess
like,
still, even then, you're like, I'm not surprised. Like, let's roll with it, make it work, fix it, move forward.
I
Don't be
yeah.
surprised, I guess.
I think I have a much different perspective on life in general and business because
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't more than a year ago I had like a major surgery that
Mm-hmm.
really kind of changed my life and gave me a new perspective. And so a lot of those things, like, with Dallas and how it started, I would probably feel a lot differently about. And then obviously most recently with our daughter, you're just like, at the end of the day, this is not that big a deal. Like,
Yeah.
we're still, as long as we're doing everything and treating people well, and from a restaurant side of things, cooking great food, great service, all those, we're going to be all right. And you have your issues every now and then with everything, but it's like you got to let it, you just go.
You'll drive yourself
sometimes.
crazy.
You got to let it go.
Right.
You just
I'm in the
can't
same
deal with
boat.
it. So I don't know if that answered your question at all, but we appreciate the question. This is from my buddy JJ Colleen, who they have a podcast for the people. Shout out for FORE. It's a golf related podcast. If you didn't get enough golf news and golf talk from us today, I'd highly recommend it. JJ and a friend of ours, John Peterson, they do it, and it's awesome. So JJ says, assume you're a driving range pro that has ADD and a drinking problem. What is the best training wheels thing to learn how to smoke and it turn out nails? #nails. Great question. I always recommend pork butt.
Oh.
'Cause
I was
feel
like, what?
What did you
No.
think you meant? Like weed or
I
something?
didn't know
or-
if there was some type of
Oh.
terms for golf.
Well, #nails, that may have thrown you off. Training wheels, I would say pork butt is the closest thing to
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Because you can smoke it. You really can't screw it up. Even if you do screw it up, throw a bunch
Still
of
tastes
sauce on
good.
it and you'll
Yeah.
be fine. So, but like we've done these barbecue classes lately, which are awesome. We got a class coming up in July. I think there's a couple tickets left, which you can go on our Instagram or whatever to get more info on that. Pork butt's great because you can kind of work out your smoker. You're controlling, a lot of those things. But then brisket is tough, and brisket is really expensive too. So you almost I'd recommend, doing a pork butt to where you can kind of practice a little bit, and sort of get to where, you understand your smoker. Okay, if I do this, it kicks up in temp. If I do this, it lowers in temp. And then everybody loves pulled pork, so
Right.
it's gonna be
Put
fine.
it on everything.
Yeah, I agree. Next question.
Sure.
Oh, for me? Okay. What's your favorite thing to cook on a Blackstone? We have a Blackstone at the house. You were
Oh.
pregnant and in desperate need of Japanese Palace, and
Which we couldn't go to because of COVID.
because of COVID. And so I did my own hibachi on the Blackstone.
Yeah, it was great.
And
We got
it
like
worked out.
shrimp and everything.
Combination fried rice, shrimp, steaks, chicken. It was delicious.
It was. We need to do it again.
But those Blackstones are great. Actually, from the For the People podcast, John Peterson just got one for Father's Day. So I know he's been cooking the hell out of it.
Okay, I got a question. It was,
I'm ready.
will we ever do a Heim Arlington?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, who wants to pay for it? It's like
Okay.
I like Arlington. I think I would have done it a few years ago. Actually, now that I think about it, we were going
did.
to open a place, and it is where Cane Rosso is currently. Cane Rosso in
Oh.
Arlington. And I went and looked at it actually with your brother because he
Mhm.
lives in Arlington, and we went and checked it out. And it was an old like auto body shop or
Mhm.
something, some kind of like
Yeah.
thing. And really cool, and we looked at it, but it didn't work for the size that we needed to.
Right.
This was the point where like we had seen River and kind of, even though it wasn't doing what we thought, we were like, well, we need to be more bigger than Magnolia, but smaller than River, and it was a little too small. Um, but then they turned it into Canny Rosa, and they're doing
Yeah.
great as far as I know, and it's doing well. And then since then, that Hurtado opened like across the street, so it's like they're really just absolutely kicking ass from what I've heard and making great
all looks
stuff.
great.
So that's one of those things. Like Arlington's not really a place I want to go. Most of the no offense to people from Arlington, but the like Keller area, that North Fort Worth, that's probably the number one thing that we hear. We used to hear Burleson all the time, but since we announced it, I guess today, but it's kind of like somewhat, some people know that we're opening out there. So south and then north would be good. And we've looked at a few places there too, but again, it's like you say no 1,000 times before you say yes. So,
okay. So maybe.
Yeah, probably not, but who knows? I want to open a taco place. I want to do things
something other than barbecue.
Barbecue, just because it's so tough and it takes it takes forever. Just to open a place, to build a place, to do. How are we on time? This is taking a while.
Forever.
Yeah. Well, I have notes for 6 months of stuff.
So let's save it for next time.
Okay, let's save it for next time. Good to see you again.
Thank you. I feel like
thanks.
I'm back in the world.
We're back in the saddle.
I know.
Izzy's getting big enough to where you can leave the house.
Seeing the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were at the restaurant the other day, cracking skulls.
I know. I had her in the baby carrier. It was fun. It's fun to be back and to have her with us. It's really cool.
Yeah, that was fun. And the barbecue classes, you came and did some photos and stuff. So that was great. We're going to try to do those at least once a month. The next one is a Tex-Mex barbecue theme in July coming up. It may be sold out by the time this airs, but if it sells out, we may do another one. It depends.
Fill it out. Those are awesome.
It's a whole thing.
All recipes.
Yeah, we did a really cool menu, and we'll try to do that every time. So it's just a fun thing. You can buy a ticket and, drink a bunch of beer, and listen to me talk about barbecue. If you're listening to this, then, it's like you're hard up for stuff anyway. So you might as well come do a barbecue class. But Izzy was there. That was fun. So
cheers to Rar.
Hopefully we'll do more. Shout out to Rar Beer. Rar
Thanks again,
Sons
Aaron.
Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Delicious. I'm going to drink the rest of these as soon as we leave here. I really like the mango one the most, I think.
I'm going to try that next.
It's good. I want to try the chilada, but thank you to our sponsor, Rar & Sons Brewing. Make sure to check them out, especially July 23rd. Hayes Carl is going to be doing a show at the brewery. That's going to be awesome. And every week they have badass events. At the
they always
brewery,
have the brewery open, I think, too, for tastings. And
Big Mike plays all the time.
Hang out. So fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks. Well, we couldn't be happier for Paul, too, and the Nexum Studios. This is just such a badass deal. So we're really looking forward to getting this going again. And I guess we have to make sure we have a babysitter. But as long as we have a babysitter, we're going to keep we may have Izzy right here. We'll put on Moana on the iPad. Maybe we'll do a Moana themed podcast.
Ooh.
We can just really pick apart all the stuff in that. But that'd be awesome. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you to the, 12 or so people that we saw over the last 6 months that were like, I really want you guys to bring the podcast back. Because
it was good.
At times, I feel like we're just talking to each other, and I don't know if anyone else is listening. And so I appreciate everyone who does listen and listens on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, all that stuff. We have a Patreon. We still have the Patreon. We haven't ever taken any money from it. I honestly don't know how to set that up, but we still have Patreon people, whatever you call that. And so follow us on patreon.com, Heim Time Podcast. Now Paul's got a freaking, what do you call it? White room, all this stuff, crazy. So where we can shoot some videos. We want to do some recipe stuff, do some other stuff. So we promise we're going to get that back going and kind of expand more options for our Patreon. But obviously the video part of this and everything will go on early on
Right.
Patreon. Follow us, subscribe, give us reviews. We really appreciate it. And thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you.